So right at the very beginning of the school year, the kids start becoming comfortable with almost like a different language of thinking, thinking routines that will help them start the process of how to think, not necessarily what to think, but how to think. Because oftentimes they hear teachers saying, oh, just take more time to think about it, or what were you thinking? And this way, it gives them an opportunity to practice how to actually start. So, boys and girls, I was grading some papers, and I was grading the papers on your writing prompt on Hatchet, chapters 1 through 4, and how you were looking at how the divorce that Brian Robeson was experiencing, how it's affecting him. And I started thinking about what I had been writing in my journal when we first started looking at the word divorce as a class. That's a huge word, you know, and that word brings up a lot of emotions for a lot of different people. And I wanted us to just kind of look back when we first heard that word, before we even started reading Hatchet. Boys and girls, I'm going to ask you right now to go to your portfolio reflection books. I want you to see what you wrote about before we even started Hatchet. Those 3 words, 2 questions, 1 metaphor or simile, the 3, 2, 1. What did you write about the word or the topic divorce? Cody.
I wrote separation, frustration, like frustrating, and lonely. I said cold.
Cold. Wow. Cold. It's like sounds like a simple word, but boy, cold. Cold, I think of frozen. I think of death. I think of ice. Wow. I like that word. Finn.
I did sad, alone, gone.
Alone. And this was before we read before we started reading Hatchet. And how does Gary Paulson start the book about with Brian with those sentence phrase words over and over again? What word does he like?
Alone.
Alone. When the plane went down on page 12, well, 12 in my book, he was alone in the roaring plane with no pilot. He was alone. Alone. And you came up with that word even before we started reading it. Really wasn't anticipating, the topic of divorce with Hatchet. I didn't really thought, okay, we could move on to possibly chapter 5 and talk about some other things. But I thought, you know what? By writing about the protagonist in the book and what the protagonist was feeling, and then also tying it into, their perceptions about divorce,
You have to dislike
and
someone
then
to get divorced.
practicing this and having the kids feel safe with this kind of language, I think you can open up some pretty edgy type of discussions so that they can connect their learning outside of this classroom to bigger types of issues. What about questions? Did you have a question regarding divorce? Gwen.
Is divorce always sad?
It kind of goes with one of mine too. Is divorce always sad? Does it have to be sad? Is it always bad? Bill.
What do people feel like when they get divorced?
Thank you. Caroline.
I have a question and a simile and a metaphor.
Okay.
I wrote divorce is like a wave during a big storm.
Wave. Avon.
I said divorce is like a cracked screen. You could fix it or you could leave it.
Oh, that's kind of what I said with a pencil. I said divorce is like a pencil. Sometimes you want to erase what you wrote, and sometimes you want to keep it.
Erase it or keep it? I wrote in my portfolio reflection book too. And I wrote, my 3 words were silence, segregation. All right, what does segregation mean? Oh, no, GWC, right. Segregation, what does that mean, Zoe? You know? You have no idea. All right. They kind of get all like, ugh, when it comes to a boring word. And I'll say GWC, which is good word choice, or BWC, which is, how about a better word choice? All right. Anyone know what the word segregation means? Clark?
Segregation, I feel like in American history there was a lot of segregation between the blacks and whites.
Okay, so what do you think based on that knowledge?
I think it was like kind of like separation for people being different.
Okay. And yeah, and so that's exactly why I chose that word. I believe that we really need to be engaged with our kids, working alongside the kids, showing them our vulnerability and what we do as far as mistakes, so that they feel valued as learners and know that, you know what, their thinking really matters. So it's kind of nice. I wrote, my question was, can a family become a healthier family because of divorce? And number 2, is divorce better than staying in a relationship in which people are angry, silent, separated, independent, lonely, depressed, and discouraged? And then based on, it's a lot like these hot hate slices, my metaphor was divorce is a delivered mixed grill pizza, because my favorite is a mixed grill pizza from Vesuvius. So divorce is a delivered mixed grill pizza with a slice that is missing. And then I did like a family pie. I hear back the feedback that I get from other teachers as far as who they're becoming as learners and thinkers after their time in this classroom. And I'm so ecstatic that they're taking these routines, they're taking their learning, and they're applying it forward. They're using the routines. They're using the strategies with how they read. What they learn in 5th grade, they're doing it as seniors in AP classes, because they found that, you know what, it's meaningful. And I think that's great.